What's good with it? Lucky Lefty Podcast. Onora Boys in the building, and we're brought to you by Onora Whiskey. It is ONORAWhiskey.com. It's that premium American whiskey left. It's ONORAWhiskey.com. And if you're going to drink, man, you better make sure that you do it.
It's responsibly.
Let's go.
We gon' party tonight. Y'all use mouth to mouth. Bring the party to life. Don't be scared. Show another party of life. The more drinks in your system, the harder the fight.
Happy Wednesday out there to everybody. Lucky Lefty Podcast. What's good, LL Nation? Nora Boys. MALIK, ZAIRE, SHAUN in the building. ONORAWhiskey.com. Don't forget, go to YouTube, subscribe. Lucky Lefty Network. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. We appreciate it. Leave your comments and questions because we respond to all. Subscribe. Do that. Subscribe. Patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network. Whew. 3 podcasts over there, blessing you each and every week. Players Only Lounge. They had a great show posted later on tonight. Audio Edibles, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, every day. TikTok, Twitter, X, Instagram, at Lucky Lefty Pod. Get locked in. You know what we are. We're the home of the misguided passion. And we're going to be forever committed to making sure that we spin it
different. I swear, I think Schwarberg's gonna come back and try to get some credits off of that misguided passion. Like when we get bigger, he's gonna try to come back and collect. I already know.
So here we go, man. We appreciate you, Gavin. We appreciate you, brother.
All the time. All the time.
So, Left, I want to say, man, huge day for me and my family.
That's right.
Celebrating 76 years on this earth for my mother, Catherine Davis.
Oh, man.
The sweetest woman in the world, bro.
They said the sweetest woman in the world.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. She is literally the sweetest woman in the world. And the regalness and the strength that she has shown in the last 2 years, her firstborn, her husband and her firstborn, both were diagnosed with cancer. Both went through treatment. And then she loses my dad in February. And she is still the sweetest woman, most regal woman I've ever met, bro. Nothing has changed. She has doubled down on life. She has doubled down on her beliefs. And when you have somebody like that to look at, bro, not just for me, but for even my daughter and the rest of my nieces and nephews, I had to start the show off by saying, man, I love you, Mom. You are, as Ralph Crandon would say to Alice, you're the greatest. You're the greatest. And I'm also happy because according to the Athletic Storybook at 1 o'clock, that cat Jerry Reinsdorf is actively selling the Chicago White Sox. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Hey!
That means y'all might move though.
Hey! I have to take it back to the cabbage patch back on there. Ooh.
That means y'all might move though.
No sir. No sir.
No, he just gonna sell it. I mean, you know, that's new management might want to take it to a new spot.
No sir.
Okay. Okay, I'm just saying. What that new management happened with the Baltimore Colts, and now look at where they at. Indianapolis.
He's not selling. He's not gonna sell the Bulls though. I know that. He's not selling the Bulls.
No.
They lead the league in attendance every year.
Over the Lakers.
Yeah. What? Are you kidding me?
The Lakers in Utah.
Bro, I'm telling you. A Bulls game in Chicago is one of the best date nights you can have.
That's right.
Atmosphere is through. You can stay out in the
Y'all even had strippers one time in the box.
Hey, relax, man. Relax.
That's how I knew it was like, oh, it must be lit. It must be lit in Chicago. Y'all taking this to a new level.
Come on, man. That's what we doing. You always find a way to bring up the flaws of Chicago.
Is it a flaw? It looked like it was a pretty good time.
I don't know if I want to bring my children to the game, man. See,
that's why they got the box. They got the box to be exclusive. You know what I'm saying?
See twerking in the private box. I don't know if I want to see that, bro. I don't know if I want to see that.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? But hey, man, happy birthday to Mon Dukes. And of course, when that news broke, I was like, oh, yes, sir. Jerry Sale. Because this season was the pitch to him. Oh, yeah. So you know if they sell, they have to change management.
That's what I'm saying. You don't want to do nothing crazy.
All of that. Get rid of it.
Get rid of the whole group.
Everybody can go. Everybody go. Oh, and by the way, I don't know if you ever heard it. So Comcast Sportsnet was like, throughout the country, bro. Major cities. Most of those NBC Universals connected to Peacock, which connects to Notre Dame.
That's right.
A lot of those companies on the East Coast and Midwest closed up. Well, the White Sox, the Bulls, and the Blackhawks started their own network. It's the the Chicago Sports Network, CSN. And literally right now, Left, I have no way. This is early petty train. I have no way to watch Bulls games and Blackhawks games.
At home. And you sitting in Chicago.
No way. You know why? Because they have yet to strike a deal with the cable providers, bro.
Oh, my God. Cable has a deal. The first deal done.
They only have a deal with DirecTV. So, yes, 60% of Chicago can watch Bulls and Blackhawks.
Wait, 60%? Is that much?
Because people have switched over from DirecTV. People really aren't doing satellites anymore, dude.
Y'all got Cox, or what y'all got?
Streaming. Like, I'm YouTube TV right now.
Oh, so you still catch it?
No.
It's not on YouTube.
YouTube TV has a deal with the network, but they can't broadcast it until the why am I losing my thought right now?
This TV stuff.
Distribution deal. They can't do anything until the distribution deal is done. Right?
Okay.
So Comcast, even though they closed down CSN Chicago, they still are the distributors or the cable network.
Got it.
YouTube TV has to deal with the cable network. So until they reach a deal with the teams,
it's all the same.
They can't stream it.
They all bundled. Well, YouTube is a halfway black market. Somebody has streamed that thing.
So it's preseason, so I'm not panicking right now. Well, no, it's regular season for my Blackhawks. They went 1-3 to start the season. They didn't start it the way I want them to, but it is what it is.
You're not worried about it too much. They got that
tonight. I want to see tonight because tonight is Lonzo's first time on the court in 2 years.
He get like what 20 minutes or something like
16 minutes tonight, but I just want to see him play.
Yeah, that's it.
But I can't.
That's a nice backup to Zach LaVine.
Well, I can because we have DirecTV at the church, so I could actually go. I'm not driving to the church to watch 15 minutes of Lonzo ball, but
no, you got to stay for Zach LaVine now.
That's what Lucky Lefty podcast. Left always knows how to cause me to immediately go in the tank.
Think about it. You got Lonzo and Zach and Kobe White. That's a great backcourt.
You said Ayo Dosunmu.
He's coming off the bench. You
said Ayo Dosunmu, Kobe, and who?
LaVine, Lonzo, Kobe White. That's the top three right now.
You said Ayo, Lonzo, and Kobe. Okay.
Y'all got Horton Tucker too. Horton Tucker's not bad.
Chicago. What you mean? Chicago. You already know. Of course. Simeon, baby.
LeBron had his fun. They had Simeon home.
If you have not, so You know, was it the 5120 podcast with Jeff T?
Yep.
Jeff T, by the way, is one of the best storytellers in all the podcasts.
By far.
Dude, if you have not, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not watched Jeff T's podcast, Native Indianapolis kids,
they are hilarious.
So, you know, he's on the same AAU squad with D Rose.
Yep.
Right? Dude, his podcast with D Rose that they recorded the day he announced his retirement, bro.
It's top notch.
Yeah, he told a story about when D Rose dropped 44 on the Hawks in game 3 of the playoffs. He said, I had never seen nobody throw a teardrop and catch it coming through the net themselves.
Yeah, catch it through the net themselves.
He said he threw the teardrop, and when it dropped through the net, he was underneath the bucket catching his own shot and gave it to him. He's like the craziest thing ever. Great show.
He told a great story with my dog Norris Cole, too, how Cleveland State holding it down, Dayton, Ohio now.
Hey, man, shout out to Norris Cole, man.
Yeah.
You know, he was Norris Cole always looked like Waldo to me off Family Matters.
He does, huh? He definitely does.
That was Eddie Winslow's boy, right?
Yeah, Eddie Winslow's boy. Eddie Winslow's a crazy guy out here now.
Oh, in real life?
Yeah.
That's
real.
In real life? Eddie Winslow, one of the special dudes.
Oh, yeah, special
I've heard about him in the LA streets.
He's crazy.
So let's give the early GT.
Oh, my God.
Let's jump into this Georgia Tech game, 2:30 p.m. Central Time, Saturday. Oh, man. Down in the dirty. What's your early take on this game, Lef?
I think it'll be close early. And I think because we're depth still, we have the good amount of depth. We'll wear on them by the fourth quarter. And hopefully it's not coming down to the wire. I think, through the first half, it'll be close.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to give us their best shot. They're down the street from the crib. I think we'll travel well to this game, so I don't think it'll be all Georgia Tech fans. Plus, it's at a neutral site at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, right? So hopefully J.D. Bertrand shows up, give us a little extra motivation, right? And I think this game is definitely going to be very physical. I think they believe they can do a lot of things on the ground against us, and we just got to show up and try to stop it. I think, if anything, this proves that second game out of the bye week that we worked on something on defense. First game, it was an offensive showing. We got to see what was special about what that bye week provided us and gave us confidence with going into this game. But I think this is where defense, with a lot of talk, chatter, and yapping around what we aren't and what we lost, I think we will step up to the plate, and those young guys will be ready to play in a very winnable game. This is not like we're going against, number one team in the country or anything, but it is important to see guys take that next step this game defensively. Offensively, we're not that far from Alabama, so, I'm expecting Riley Leonard's people to come up. And, it's can he repeat greatness? Can he repeat great performances not at home for the first time in a while? And it's a home away from home, but not at home. And can he get close to that magic number of 230? I think that's where the second 5 games or 6 games of the season need to exist for him. You need to be around that 230 number. You got enough guys around you that you don't need to be the leading rusher of the team. I think it would equal out better and be better for team chemistry offensively if you're not the leading rusher. Because, at some point, you got to be a quarterback. And these teams with all this film, it's only going to get harder as the year goes on. And we want you to be healthy. It's one thing to run roughshod the first 5 games, but now you're closer to that second season. We need you to be, feeling great. There's not too many bye weeks you're going to get moving forward. So let's stay off of the ground, like what they talk about in practice. Stay off the ground and run when you need to, not run when you have to.
Man, let me tell you something, Love. Looking at the early stats, this is going to be a challenge when you talk about a balanced offense. This might be one of the biggest challenges, even a bigger challenge. I don't know if I would say from a play calling standpoint, because Brom is one of the best play callers in all of college football. But from playmakers all over the field, they have just as. I think the talent offensively on Louisville's squad is probably a little bit better at the skill positions.
Similar in talent, I think.
But the Georgia Tech offensive line is better.
It's better, yes. That's the key to what they got going on. Is that senior? They're all senior.
Yeah.
Or something crazy. It was some crazy, stat about their O-line. But
yeah, 28 points per game. So anytime I see a team averaging or whatever they average offensively, I just subtract 10 when they face Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Right? If they're averaging 30, your ceiling is 20.
Ceiling is 20. Now, I might give my extra field goal considering we take into account of our injuries.
Yeah.
And the youth that's replacing those injuries. So I'll give them 3 more. So I subtracted by 7. I still think it's opportunity, and we have enough talent on the team to be a double-digit victory. I mean, these guys are not world beaters necessarily. They started hot, and they're going through their transition through getting through the season and playing in big games. This is a big game for them.
Yeah.
For us, it's another game in the ACC.
Go ahead.
We're 35-2 in the ACC or something crazy like that.
Yeah. I think this is something to check out, Lef. They put up yards, 423 a game. That ranks 11th in the country, if I'm looking at this correctly. No, it ranks 41st in the country. I apologize. Yards per play, 24th in the country at 6.3.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good, but here's the kicker, Lef, and this is going to be the key to the game, which is why if you subtract Ashton Daniel and his rushing yards, Notre Dame held Stanford in the run game. Remember I said they were going to hold Stanford to under 80 yards?
They had them at, 85 or something?
Strictly from the running backs, Stanford had 79 yards rushing.
It's like we had 229 passing. Like we just won 1 yard off.
That is going to be a physical football game. Georgia Tech is going to try to bully Notre Dame. They're going to try it. They bully Florida State, who were the more talented team on paper.
Oh, definitely on paper.
Right? So they're going to try to do the same thing with Notre Dame. They're going to try to do the same thing with Notre Dame. But just like one amazing stat, who would you say would be one of the best play callers in all of the NFL?
Shanahan's, your McVays, hell, Matt LaFleur, they all under the same tree.
Do you realize Kyle Shanahan during Kyle Shanahan's tenure, the 49ers ranked 15th in the NFL in third down conversions? You say, well, what does that mean? Well, we just talked about yards per play, how high they rank. We just talked about yards per game, how good they are. The one thing they're not good at is third down conversions.
Ain't as bad as the Browns.
And so how can an offense like the Niners, as consistent as they've been, be bad at third downs? What makes great play callers great is the development of their first and second downs. They never want to get to third down. See, great playmaker, I've started to learn that, Lef. Guys that are elite at calling games don't want to see third downs. And if it is third down, it has to be 3rd and 3 or less. They want to get you on your heels on first down, get you to 2nd and short, hit you with a big play, get another first down, and they want to keep the momentum going. That's what they want to do. That's when Kyle Shanahan is at his best. Go back to that Super Bowl. Kansas City, hell, I think San Fran might have been something like 4 for 15 on third downs against the Chiefs. But if you watch that game early, they were bludgeoning the Chiefs, just pushing them around, just bullying them. And eventually, the clanks went on because Kansas City was able to get them to third down.
Yeah.
And what did that do? That opened up the exotic blitzes that Spags loves. This is going to be about Al Golden and this defense winning first downs. Can Notre Dame win first down and force Georgia Tech into territory that their play caller and their players don't want to be in? Because their quarterback is not a drop back quarterback. He's not.
He's a run around. He's like Riley Leonard a little bit.
Absolutely. And you're going to hear coaches were asked about the similarity between Haynes King and Riley Leonard. We'll hear from them coming up shortly. But that's an early key to watch, Left. That's an early key. The best offenses don't want to get the third down. Sark doesn't want to get the third down. No. That's why play action with guys like play action on first down with guys like Sark, Shanahan, McVay is so prevalent. They take advantage of you because they know you want to stop the run, and they bop you in the head with play action passes and motions and all types of things. It's absolutely fantastic. Have you seen this new trend, by the way? I want to throw this at you. Have you seen this new trend in the NFL? So you know how you bring the motion man across, and usually he's wham blocking the backside on the run?
Oh, they got him inserted running routes behind the guards.
No. They are bringing guys now in motion, the tight end in motion, full speed, and he's going to the strong side. Well, that is the strong side because he's ended up on the opposite side. But as he comes across, he's not going to the edge anymore. He is literally becoming the double team blocker on the defensive tackle.
Oh, yeah, those inserts, the Rams do a lot of that.
Dude, inserting right there.
Kyron's getting off. Dude, Kyron's looking good with
inserting right there and then getting right to the second level on the linebacker. It's absolutely, man, absolutely amazing. Atlanta's doing a lot of it.
Yeah.
McVay does a lot of it. Bijan's doing a lot of it. Man. And I was like, y'all would love to see Notre Dame.
Well, we did not insert, but we've motioned guys into.
Yeah, we motioned. We've never motioned to insert, to double team the tackle and then get right up, right? Because sometimes it's hard for that reach block, especially when you have defensive linemen, slanting that way. This time, you get the man in front of you, hold him off, you give them zone action, so they're going to run that way anyway. So they're running into the double team.
Yeah.
Literally, because you're zone blocking. They recognize that. They're trying to come across the face and get in front of the play. And here from the backside, here comes that tight end. Double team, right up to the line. I was like, yo, this is great.
Yeah.
Great scheme in the running.
That's why there's no way you can say you can't run the ball, And I try to explain that to my coaches over at school. They say, oh, the O-line can't block. Well, there's many ways to get a runoff inside, and I think a lot of that comes from motioning guys full speed to help out, clearing out them holes because, D tackles have gotten a lot better at being able to hold their ground through double teams, especially some of these monsters that they keep drafting. So to see that guys are always coming up with different ways just shows you that the league is tough. And the league is not an easy place. 1 minute you talk about how great Jaden Daniels plays, and now they're going on a 2-game losing streak, but he's played great. But the game's just tough. It's you got guys that literally sitting there all day figuring out how to beat you, which is different than the college landscape where people got other stuff they have to do, recruiting, they got to do on-school visits, on-campus stuff, meetings and media. These guys sit in the office all day being like, what if we just run him in there? They just trust. What if we just run him in there and double team him? Like, how about that? We'll try all type of stuff. But that's what makes the profession great, in my opinion. It's also why I like NFL a little bit better than college, just because of the detail you have to be able to keep up with week to week. And it's those nuances keep you inspired and keeps the game fun.
Have you seen anybody on the college level run it? Because I started thinking about the college. I saw multiple teams on the NFL level. I was like, yo, has anyone really started to run this zone insert, and then on the back end, you're running stretch zone, but on the back end, you know, they're not running zone. I've never seen that. The Falcons run zone with the center all the way to the tackle, right? But then the backside is running straight power.
Yeah. And a lot of that is
that lane, or you have the cutback. It's really effective, and it's a quicker way to get to the second level. It really is a quicker way to get to the second level.
Yeah, you're dealing with space in the league too. You know, you got more space to, you know, try to do different manipulations with your O-line and your extra players. And college, you know, that boundary is real small. So being able to not be too cluttered in the boundary, I think, is important, which makes the college play calls different. I mean, we've seen Georgia with Todd Monken do a little bit of that with Brock Bowers and use those tight end shifts and motions a lot to get an unbalanced look. But, you know, it's one of those beautiful things about football is that you just when you think you have it all figured out, there's guys that come up with new things.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
I mean, hell, this definitely is almost stemming from, you know, UNLV's go-go offense and that offense coordinator putting two guys on the same side and having one go in there and insert and have the other run the power. And, I mean, that go-go offense is definitely innovative enough to where I'm probably sure they've gotten ideas to run guys in there from that because they do a good job of unbalanced looks and that whole thing. It's just, man, it's just great football happening in 2024. It's way different than the Bill Parcells era of, you know, ground and pound, left and right in the middle.
Lucky Lefty podcast. On the offensive side of the ball, I really think, looking at the stats here, Left, Notre Dame, if they continue to trend, come out early and be the bully offensively. That's what I would like to see. Smaller Georgia Tech defense. They like the blitz, fly around. The more you open it up, the more they can get into their blitz packages. I would love to see Notre Dame do what they did or do the opposite of what they did against Stanford, which had a strong rush defense, suspect secondary. This is a smaller defensive squad. Come out and physically start the process of wearing them down. And then
we should. I mean, this is a game for Anthony Knapp to earn his stripes, to come downhill, and Taj Baker to come downhill. I think they're more successful running the football than they are passing right now. And I think that what makes it so cool is that these are the games where we can predict what should happen. Last week with a soft secondary at Stanford had, we predicted that the pass should come alive. Right now, a smaller defense is what we like to do. We can run that box. You can add up extra guys. And I think from what they're going to look at on the film is that one-on-one RPO. We start eating them up. Riley Leonard was eating them up with that one-on-one RPO to Chris Mitchell running the post, the slant, the hitch, the whatever, if they all crowd the box. And so having that dynamic ability outside of the tackle, I mean, it's something that you just want to force teams to play defense, force teams to tackle instead of trying to be overly smart about it where you're trying to trick them and dick them, you know. So I think it's for us to be, because, you know, how they try to, you know, that whole thing where we try to be overly smart. We try to be too cute and what we do. I think just providing teams the look of, okay, you can stop this, but you got to tackle that. I think that mentality is served good for us because it's made Riley more decisive. He's not having to read a bunch of things. It's like, if you feel confident you can run it, run it. If not, throw it out and we'll take our chances on the outside, because that's what talent does. When you have talent, you don't have to be so intricate, you know, especially on a college level.
Haynes scheme on the season, 138 for 191. That's a completion percentage of 71.2% left. Whew, pretty good. 1,566 yards.
That's pretty damn good,
8
yeah.
touchdowns, 1 interception on the year, rating of 152.9. So the kid, like I said, they do a good job play action, especially on first down, motions, quick screens, getting the ball to their playmakers. You could call it kind of a option, quick pass game, big shots every now and then type of offense. And people will look at those numbers and say, well, man, he's not really, look, he's doing his job in the system. He's doing what he's asked to do, and he's doing it at an elite level, right? I hear Bears fans like, well, Jay Daniels is running a college offense, and Caleb is running a professional offense. I'm like, dog, I don't care what you're running. If you're throwing for 80% completion percentage, then the two throws he made in the red zone, the McLaren, that didn't look like college throws to me, dog. It was like real professional quarterbacking. That's what it looked like to me. So stop all this. Well, you know, Georgia Tech doesn't really run a down the field offense. So what? He's effective. He's dangerous in the scheme.
Yeah, they've been good side to side, and then when all else fails, he scampers for about 3 or 4 yards and just keeps the defense on their toes, keeps them honest, and just tries to get positive yards. You know, a lot of times all great offensive coordinators have great guys that can make plays when the play call isn't the greatest. You know, when the play call isn't the greatest. So, you know, I do think that this game would be a nice showdown to get to see where Notre Dame stands again. I mean, right now we're coming off of being Jekyll and Hyde, you know, having a good game, having an okay game, having a good game, having an okay game. Go to the bye week. Now, how do we stack good games one after another? Because this is the month where we start to turn it up a little bit and get ready to be prime for our, in my opinion, this the month that I think we're the best at, and that's in November. I think we're the best version of ourselves in November, where a lot of teams fall off in the pretending months of October and September.
Let's get to the super chats before we transition over to Golden. And Denbrock GTB from John Massey. Besides that one versus Louisville, our screen game has been pretty trash this year. How would you improve it, Left?
Oh my gosh, really trash. And I think designing more screens based off of the run, like your guard and tackle pull, your guard pull, and you throwing the opposite, throwing the opposite screen to your back, throwing screens away from the back. You know, you got to get creative. You watch the NFL every day and you see, oh, this is new creative ways to run screens. And I think it's something that needs to be implemented more anyway to alleviate a Riley Leonard from thinking I'm either down the field or I have to run the ball. Screens are a great tendency breakup, especially in the red zone where the windows are getting smaller. Screens become more apparent. You see a lot of screens in the red zone for NFL teams because it makes sense. It's like a long extension of a handoff, and it's not as dangerous as a play action pass can be because those are usually 10 to 15 yards downfield. So the screen game, you know, I'm really big as an offense coordinator on screen game. I think it's a great change up and a great tempo booster because it helps your line get out there and have an extension of run blocking. You know, that's something that they're already good at is firing off the ball, but now screens are helping them get to that second level and make plays. So I definitely would love to see Denbrock implement more of those. And that way it's easier to get bigger yards and get more guys involved when you're doing the screen game mixed with the run game. You know, even throw some screens to Jeremiah Love. Find ways to get your athletes the ball, and the best way to do that is involve screens when you're doing a lot of running play action.
John Massey with another GTB saw an interesting stat. ND was 29th in yards per play, but 10th worst in yards per point. Thoughts?
I believe it. I mean, you've seen we're leading the country and our quarterback's leading the team in rushing. So yards per points is just that's what comes with it. Those are the downsides to doing that. So I do think that once again we have unique numbers for our success this year, and I think that it's gonna. I think it's all gonna come together. To be honest with you, and something that we can really lean on and we get stronger with by adding more screens because we didn't see them too much in the beginning of the season. We haven't seen them be as successful, but I do think that You add that and tweak them and be creative with them. Your run game's even going to be better, right? And your play action game is going to be even better. Pushing the ball down the field is going to be set up even greater because teams are so worried about coming up and rallying to tackle on screens, fighting through blocks downfield, the whole nine. So I would love to evolve that part of our game. I think it gets guys like Chris Mitchell and Jaden Greathouse happy, right? Maybe not a Bo Collins too much. He's a down the field guy, but hell, Jaden Thomas can do some things in the screen game. And not only that, but you attach that RPO side of things, which we were very successful with last week. You're talking about, okay, you're taking the pressure off of Ryan Leonard. You got great screen game, great run game, and you can do some RPOs to alleviate some big third downs where you can make it easy reads for your quarterback. You know, the down the field plays can come few and far between, but then those can also be the bigger efficient plays that we hit when we need them. You know, I think we're a big time of possession offense anyway. So if we could just find ways to continue to eat up the clock, help our defense out, that's that complementary football you want to go into when you're getting towards the end of the season. Now teams are like, well, as much as they aren't as explosive offensively, they chew up a lot of time and put pressure on our offense to score against a stingy defense, especially in that secondary.
Super chat. We got two of them. Peony 35. Thank you for the super chat. Love your passion, SD Malik. Z has the best takes descriptions of all the ND commentators on YouTube. Ryan Day wins by Coach Marcus Freeman having 11 and loses to Ducks by them having 12. Yo, so I don't know if this is crazy. So Dan Lanning on that last incompletion, the second to last play of the game.
Ran a guy on the field.
Ran a guy on the field to get a penalty to purposely take time off the clock. The NCAA just put a rule in today based upon that game. So wait a minute, NCAA can react that fast. Wait, the NCAA, they throw tantrums. The things that are smart or that they should do, they don't react to.
Wait, so let's say, okay, Ohio State gets a touchdown that play. You're saying it doesn't count because they ran 12 guys on the field?
No. So now teams, it's a copy and paste. So, coaches would have seen what Dan Lanning did, and then they would have used it to their advantage throughout the rest of the season. So the NCAA, wait a minute. So now you can either get the time put back on the clock plus 5-yard penalty. Now it comes with the penalty if you do it, right?
Well, I'm trying to figure out what's the benefit.
I thought that real time because if the penalty was on Ohio State, they would have incurred a 10-second runoff.
Yes, right? Yes. If you break the huddle with 12, yeah, you get a runoff.
There was no rule for the defense getting that penalty, and Dan Lanning knew that. So he was trying to get the time ran off purposely because there was no rule to get the time put back.
Wait, so what? Okay, so I'm trying to, let's say that same play where they ran the guy.
The offense does not want to have a time deduction, right?
Right, but how does that affect the play itself? Like it was an incomplete. So
the play doesn't change. It's a penalty. Doesn't change the play. They just don't lose the 6 seconds and they gain 5 yards. So they still would have had 2 plays left plus the yardage instead of
if they didn't get the penalty.
If they get the penalty now, it goes back to I think 12 seconds instead of being 6 seconds and 5 yards. They got the 5 yards, but they still lost the time. That's what Dan Lanning knew. Dan Lanning was like, I could care less about the yardage. Give me the 6 seconds. I'll take the penalty to take 6 seconds off the clock.
See, that throws me off because the play itself was incomplete, so they already ran off 4 seconds. Right? Like it was 10 seconds left. They ran a play for 4 seconds, and then they got the
on purpose to take the time. He didn't care about the yards. He wanted the clock to run out. That's all he cared about.
Wait, hold on. One time. Okay, walk. Help me out. Okay, so they had 10 seconds left.
It was 11.
11 seconds left.
If I'm not mistaken, I'll have to look back at it.
It was 11 seconds left. Ohio State's running the play. They before they snap the ball, they run the extra guy on. Yeah. They run the play, and it was an incomplete. So the time that was already taken off from running the play, where does the penalty and the genius come in at? Because they already took off 4 seconds by throwing
Cassie Rice. No kidding, they had an extra defender. That's the obvious. We're going to why he did it.
Yeah, no, how it affected the play when they already ran the play for 4
He did it. Even if he incurs a penalty, the time gets taken. Dude, that's all he's looking at. Time. That's it. He said it. Dan Lanning flat out said it. Dan Lanning is stupid for coming to the presser and being asked about it and said, yeah, I did it on purpose. That's number one, because he could have used it, put it in his back pocket. He could have said, oh, no, we were just trying to sub. Man, it was a mistake. Same thing. We got mixed up and kept it in his back pocket. His arrogance, which he's one of the most arrogant coaches in all of college football.
Easily.
His arrogance had him come to the press conference and say, oh, yeah, see how smart I am? No, goofy. No.
But that was John Massey, though, because if the play didn't count anyway, the time was already ran off. Or am I tripping?
Get the time back, dog. You now get the time back if they do it on purpose.
Okay. Then they need to make a rule.
So there's no reason. So now you are literally, you're adding time if you get a penalty, which is in contrast to if the offense gets a penalty.
You lose time. Yeah, I get the offensive side of things for sure.
Yes.
Like, let's just say they completed the football for 5 yards.
Right.
They have the 12 man on the field. It would just be 5 yards plus 5 yards.
Right.
But because he was incomplete, the time never changed.
What do you mean the time never changed?
Like when they snapped it at 11 seconds to run that incomplete, 4 seconds already ran off from the play itself.
Right.
You know, he came in from having 12 men, but I don't know how the 12 man affected the play that was already ran incomplete. See what I'm saying?
They had an extra defender to defend the wide receivers.
Oh, but he wasn't even guarding nobody. Oh,
he was that. That's my point. It wasn't like he was schematically in the thing. He was literally by the sideline. Because he ran on late on purpose.
Right, on purpose. But was it an advantage because it was 12?
Will Howard just happened to throw the ball that way.
Right.
Somewhere else.
Dan Lanning was smart because it was 12 people that could have prevented a big play.
Yes.
Okay. Because I'm like, I thought it would make more sense to implement the rule to stop guys from faking the injury to slow down the offense.
No,
because that's what they need to fix.
Run him on late, right? If you run him on late, more than likely, they're not going to see it until after the play has been run.
Right.
If you break the huddle with 12, the penalty is called before the play.
That's why Deshaun Watson walked off the man. They ate my dog up because of that. He like, man, it's 12. We finna break the huddle with 12. Get me off the field. They try, man. They on my dog's neck right now.
We're not forgiving Deshaun Watson.
They out to get him. They out to get him. This is crazy.
He's been trashed this year. Stop. He's been trashed.
Offensive line has been hurt. Let's talk about that.
Okay, here we go with the offensive line.
They got the left tackles out, the left tackles out, the right tackles out.
Are you getting Riley Leonard the same grace?
Whoa. It's totally different.
Starting left tackle. He has 2 freshmen on the left side. Are you giving him the same grace? He lost his starting center, starting right guard in the Purdue game. So you're going to wait a minute, you about to get Deshaun Watson grace, but Riley Leonard can't get grace?
Riley Leonard don't got the same talent. What are you talking about?
That's not the principle applies. What are you talking about?
Because Riley's not dependent on the same things Deshaun's dependent on.
They both are running quarterbacks.
Whoa.
Deshaun's arm right now is boo-boo. So
you
talking about Texans? You talking about Texans? Deshaun Watson?
Let's turn on the game with the Browns versus the Raiders. He was out there diming. They were just dropping the ball.
No, now they're dropping the ball. Okay.
All right. That's why they got rid of Amari Cooper. They said, Amari Cooper, get out of here, Amari Cooper.
Stop saying it was, dude. How about you all focus on what Dan Lanning said the purpose of doing it was to take time, stop. Don't forget what we're saying. Everybody keeps saying, you forget it's a mismatch. That is like basic. Let's go beyond that. And what Dan Lanning said in the press conference, yes, we wanted to take time off. It wasn't like they lined up 12. It had no effect on the one-on-one matchup. There was 2 one-on-one matchups on the other side of the field. Literally, Will Howard could have thrown the ball the other way. The man was literally right there on the sideline. It wasn't like they had this great schematic.
He came on super late. It was inconsequential. It was inconsequential to the play.
It wasn't thinking like, let's sneak, because you have, in order for it to be just a flat out advantage all over the field, you would have to break the huddle with 12 people. Period.
Yes.
So his main purpose was to get the penalty. Now, it allowed them to do some other things, probably coverage-wise. But if you look at the play, like I said, they had
Will Howard threw it in dirt. Like
Will Howard just threw it to the double team. He literally threw it to the double team. Like, he's not even looked at as a top 10 guy right now, is he? Or he's like 10 or something like that for quarterbacks this year. I don't know, man.
He's not carrying the same esque as like a Justin Fields.
McCord is probably outplaying Will Howard.
Oh, what? McCord climbing the ladder. He making Syracuse look real threatening. Now they ain't
because he was made the fall guy.
Easily. McCord was like, I mean, you saw him versus Notre Dame. He had a great 2-minute drive to win the game. Like
he was made the fall guy by Ryan Day.
And I'm sure they're probably like, damn, we shouldn't have let his ass go because he out there balling.
No, they're not. No, Ryan Day. Same thing, bro. Different quarterback, same Ryan Day at the end of the games. Doesn't matter. 20 million can't help you, bro. You thought the money and the fame was going to – no.
You thought the money and the fame?
No. Hey, you guys are great in the chat. Great questions, great super chats. Did we get to everything? I think – no, we had a second one from Pilney. Love, speed, and extra gear is lethal late in the game, and Price is the punisher. Misdirection will kill Georgia Tech. This is the way forward once Riley Leonard takes deep shots.
The only thing is Riley Leonard is the punisher and the lethal extra gear. That's the only confusion I'm having. I'm like, if we would let the superpowers of our 2 running backs be spectacular, Riley's game could get 10 times better if he can use that energy on the passing game. Yeah. I truly believe it's just too hard to be running the ball like a running back and then go back there and say, okay, I'm a Peyton Manning, Tom Brady this thing down. You can't do it all. So the energy that's spent on these quarterback powers and quarterback runs, let's see less of that. Maybe the confidence of Denbrock has grown since last game to be like, I don't need to call as many of Riley's number and do a better job of continuing to evolve these receivers that are probably starving for the football.
ND Milton fan, delete that from the chat. Please don't let Malik see that in the chat. I didn't even mention it yesterday. You're about to open up a whole nother. Come on, ND Milton fan.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, see, it's right there. Better get Canada.
Brother Milton.
Makes sense. He probably just started learning how to play football.
Oh man, here we go.
You know how that goes.
Here we go.
That's all we love to do is go up to Canada for some bacon and some players, man. It's just like, at what point do we realize Canada is not the move? At what point? We've let it bleed into the quarterback room now. And then
you probably have a lot of Canadians on the hockey team. Bro.
It's a double negative. You got a Canadian Connecticut player. The only double C's I want to see is Chanel. Not Canadian in Connecticut. That doesn't sound right.
Canadian in Connecticut, you are crazy.
Doesn't sound right when it comes to football. You're like, what kind of sport is that? That's not even the first sport. If I say Canada and Canada and Connecticut, you're not thinking football. You're just not thinking that. That's not the, you know the therapists that show you them pictures of them blotches. They say, what do you see? I put up 2 Canada and I put Connecticut right there. They're not saying football. They saying hockey, maple syrup, dancing, Drake, anything, ESPN, anything but a football player. Like, man, I'd rather us go.
Milton, do you see what you started?
I'm just saying, I'd rather us go across the water for real. Go. You know how we recruit people to come to Notre Dame, and we sit on the corner somewhere in Ghana and just recruit people to come to school. We should do that for the football team. I mean, good grief. I mean, we like to be too international sometimes. Like it's all good on paper and brochures, but man, this is ridiculous.
I mean, that is the pitch. That is the pitch.
We have somebody from every country in the world on the football team, but can they play?
Our punter is Australian.
And we got him doing. We the League of Nations. That's who we are. The League of Nations at Notre Dame football.
The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. It's a great movie, by the way.
We should keep, just like Trump said, you should keep products made in America.
Come on, man.
Get you some American products.
Come on, man.
Good grief. Harder to say. I'd rather us go get a guy from Nebraska. Made in America. You know what I mean?
You're sounding very prejudicial right about now, brother.
When it comes to quarterbacks and certain positions on the football team, yes. When it comes to certain positions on the football team, I don't want to get too many more D linemen from Canada. I'm good at that. I'm good at saying.
Shout out to the big bear, SHAUN Sevillano.
He talked a great game. Him and Devin Houston talked a wonderful game. But man, listen.
They show him love. They coming along. They freshmen are coming along, bro.
We want some impact 315 monsters that good with hot water cornbread. That's their main diet.
Sevillano and Devin Houston.
They don't even know nothing about hot water cornbread. I guarantee it. Black eyed peas.
What are you saying right now, bro?
I'm just saying their dietary choices don't align with top football players. I'm just saying.
Braden Fisk was literally from Indiana, Granger, if I'm not mistaken, bro.
No, that's fine. That's south.
South of what border? What are you talking
Canada?
about?
Of Canada. Yes, of Canada. Yes. Connecticut. You blending stuff.
I'll be honest. There's a player that I think Notre Dame should go after out of Chicago in the 25 class. For whatever reason, they haven't gone after him.
What is reason? Because we had to speculate. Oh, there's things going on we don't know.
He's constantly in the backfield. He's strong as an ox, fast as HE double hockey stick. And as soon as I saw Coach Elko and Texas A&M just offer him this week, I was like, see, I've been on him. I've been on him all summer. Like, hey. Now, if he ends up going down to SEC country and being a dude, I'm gonna come back and talk about it. You know I'm going to come back and talk about it.
Yeah, if it was a fifth. If it was a fifth, we really need to focus on centralizing, right, and focusing on the meat and potatoes of recruiting. The meat, and sometimes you just can't. What does Georgia do? Georgia don't leave outside of the state when it comes to certain positions. When it comes to certain positions, they don't go far.
Right now, Left.
I'm just saying they don't go far.
We have international followers and subscribers, Left.
That's fine. But I'm saying
international subscribers.
Then let them be the punters. Let them be the ancillary players.
So what positions do we not take from Texas? Because you hated on Texas recently.
No. It's the quarterbacks from Texas that don't usually do well outside of Texas. It's very few. Receivers, it can go either way. I think that at the end of the day, outside of Texas, receivers that are from Texas, outside of
Texas receivers can go either way.
Either way. It's not a guarantee. You get guarantees from states like, Missouri.
No, Coach Vic is about to send you a gift for saying that. I got Coach Vic is definitely gonna send you a gift.
Oh, seriously, because we can talk about this. This is it's geographical.
Running backs from Missouri, yes.
It's geographical logic.
Literally just in Notre Dame, you have Kyron, Aeneas, and Jeremiah.
That's right. Literally. That's right. And where's Missouri? The middle of the country.
Middle of the country.
Middle of the country.
Yes.
Where they play throw them up, chuck them up. All the games we play outside. They're not playing throw them up, chuck them up in Canada. They're not. They're not doing that. They got, you know what happens? Americans go up there and have football camps. And then they get the ball rolling. You know what I'm saying? They get the ball rolling for them, but it's not enough inspiration. They don't be watching our classic highlights on YouTube of football players like the Tavon Austin that we grew up on. They're not doing that in Canada. There's too many things going on. So, you know, I think that certain things should remain in America, just like certain things should remain in Mexico. You can't make tequila in the United States. Tequila can only be made in Mexico.
He's mixing presidential policy.
Wait a minute. I'm just saying. You cannot make tequila outside of Mexico. That's cool. That's their thing. Quarterbacks coming from Canada, I don't know. We should keep that in America.
The whiskey should come from Kentucky and Tennessee. And
that's what I'm saying. Bardstown, Kentucky, the number one bourbon capital of the world. The world, Craig, the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, Malik ZAIRE.
Now you can make agave spirits in America, but you can't make tequila. That's specific.
Miller fan, this entire conversation, how it went left, is your fault. ND Miller fan, it is your fault. I'm gonna ban you from the show for like a week. Already, that's why I didn't mention it yesterday. That's why I did not mention it, because I knew this part of the conversation.
This is the first thing as a GM. I'm establishing policy about where we can and cannot recruit. These positions we cannot recruit from these areas. I don't care.
Everywhere. That's the brand.
Everywhere is fine, but not these positions.
Everywhere.
Thank
you, Josh Buffalo. Thank you. Your boy Chase Claypool is from Canada.
And what was Chase Claypool before he got till he was around us for a couple of years? It took a maturation process.
So wait a minute, you rubbed off on him. You guys rubbed off on him.
Hey, listen, he didn't know how to block. He didn't know how to run no routes. He was just a freak athlete that we grew, cultivated. You know, it wasn't natural. He wasn't a natural, which is why, you know, you get in those situations where you see where he's at, jumping around teams. That natural ability ain't there. He's a great athlete. He can dunk, run fast. You know, but when it comes to a professionalism,
oh boy, Canada, man, shout out, man.
Now basketball a little different.
Shout out Canada. No, basketball, they're in bed.
I'll take it.
They got like 3 or 4 guys. Come on, dog. Come on, man. What did they do in the Olympics? What did they do in the Olympics?
Go out first round or something crazy.
Jamal Murray looked real trash without Jokic, didn't he? Yeah, come on now. Give him credit. That hockey, absolutely amazing.
Hockey, absolutely, because that's the culture.
Matter of fact, the both of the Team USA under 17 and under 16 teams beat Canada by a combined 54 points. Like people like Canada's closing the gap on what?
Hell, international players ain't closing the gap neither. Talk about that.
See, the thing, people panic about the Olympics. It's like it's one game. Like any given day, a team can come out and play a good game.
What do you think of the roster?
That doesn't mean that you're closing the gap, bro.
Wait a
minute. The final 4 teams, if Team USA played a 5-game series against the other 3 teams
would kill them
in the Olympics, they would kill, dude. They might win 1 game out of the series.
And that's what I'm talking about. You look at the NBA All-Star team. Yeah, you got the top Jokic and Luka, but the whole rest of the team is Americans. You get maybe Shaw, Gilchrist in there, but that's 3 out of the 20 players that make it a NBA All-Star roster. The rest all Americans. Yeah, you get maybe the top 5 players can be from an international whatever, but the whole league is American.
Man, look, I got to get through this, man.
I'm just saying, like this.
Lefty podcast. See you guys, man. Oh man, you ready, man? Because you already frazzled. Look, can we get to the coordinators? Let's
get to the coordinators.
All right, man. Lefty podcast. Mike Denbrock. This might be another classic Left rant because he might say something in here that Left has been saying that everybody accused him of hating. But let's listen to Mike Denbrock.
Do you feel Riley's starting to get a little more comfortable with some of the stuff he might have been uncomfortable with week 2, week 3?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, we've really kind of just offensively overall, and him in particular, I think over the course of the last couple of weeks, really it started to really kind of kick in and click, and our consistency's gotten a lot better, and obviously everything starts with the quarterback because he touches the ball every snap. So I think his comfort level continues to grow, and everybody around him, I think, continues to grow. So it's moving in a positive direction.
And then what's kind of allowed Chris Mitchell to stay engaged despite maybe not getting as many touches as he would like?
Yeah, I mean, I think Chris is like a lot of our guys. I mean, he's a team glory guy. He's working every day to make sure when his opportunities do present themselves, he's ready to roll. But he's all in with the success of our football team, and I think that's shared by all the people around him as well, and that's what makes a good locker room.
Wow. Mike Denbrock said, yeah, I think missing a bunch of practices in the spring, and he's finally starting to work through. Like, man, that sounds like something somebody said to fans back in the summer. Like,
I think that it sounded like was this Levon Whitaker's question?
No, but he has a good one. He has a good one coming up.
Yeah, I thought he talked about that last time leading up to the Stanford game. What are you going to do to get Chris Mitchell more involved and this and that? But, it's the same thing we talked about. Like, obviously that's an impact player. He led the country in receptions. Like, what are we talking about? Like, that to not be close to that coming into a better situation is crazy. You would think that, well, one, we do have the talent that's pretty dispersed throughout the offense, but Chris Mitchell's impact is still Chris Mitchell's impact. He's still the fastest receiver we probably got next to KK Smith, who, in my opinion, if we were doing it right, he should be getting the ball some too. But, that's down the line. I do think that the confidence is growing within the offense. Denbrock is probably feeling less handcuffed by his own accord, considering he kind of has a better feel for what Riley can and can't do. But, Riley's got to continue to push the envelope because at the end of the day, guys are, like he said, guys been open all year. I mean, Riley said it himself. He just hasn't been throwing it. So this is where we have to take that next step.
He said that.
Can't believe he said it. Like, and he said it like it was a joke. Like, no, it was. You saw the Twitter tweets. So I think Denbrock is probably one of the more challenging years because he got water everywhere, but not a drop to drink.
Yeah, that's true. Mike Denbrock then went on to talk about his quarter. You'll like this, Left. Coach Denbrock, how do you evaluate young quarterbacks? Like, what's your eye?
I think more than anything, the younger the players are, I think it's really important to try to see them in person, whether that's getting to where they are or getting them on campus so you get kind of an in-person evaluation of them. Obviously, getting them on campus is ideal. That way you can also sit down and kind of have a conversation with them about where they're at from a football knowledge standpoint, how much growing they have to do both in what they're doing as far as, mechanically throwing the ball and stuff, and as well as what they know about the game.
Riley talked about, obviously we know that Riley is more comfortable in the offense. He also talked about during the bye week, he was able to kind of relax and look at the offense and say, I'm just going to go out there and throw the ball. So is it a balance of confidence and comfortability with your offense?
Oh, sure. I think 100%, right? I mean, I think people underestimate how much him missing 15 practices in the spring really had an impact on kind of how we started the season. And, I think about, we're playing Georgia Tech this week, and I think back all the way to week 1 and even in fall camp, and the comparison to where I feel like we're headed and where we were at that time. And, I see a lot of positive direction in the movement that this whole offensive unit's doing.
Let me talk some stuff a little bit. We had other podcasts, other reporters,
Other fans.
bashing Malik Zaire, calling him an imbecile, asking him, "What have you ever done in Notre Dame?" Saying,
Yeah, they let her do that. They let her do that.
To Malik Zaire, who played the position at Notre Dame under Mike Denbrock, and said there's no way he's going to be ready, missing 15 practices. And here we are halfway through the season, and Mike Denbrock's like, yeah, I just think, missing 15 practices in the spring really kind of just put him behind. But when Malik said it like fans,
yeah, I'm a hater, this and that, but it's just common sense.
All the stuff we were receiving like in the comments. Oh, it's just ridiculous.
And it's no different than one thing you learn about Notre Dame. There is no such thing as cramming before a test. You got to go in there prepared. You think you smart and you can just cram it. Oh, I got good grades in high school. No, you go in there and cram before a test. Notre Dame, you will fail. And it's no different on the football field. No person outside of a couple people, maybe because they got way more talent, can you go out there and miss all that time and think you're going to hit the ground rolling playing the position at Notre Dame? It's just impossible. Not at the quarterback position, not when you already deficient in areas that you are hugely lacking in coming into the season. Like, this is all catch-up. It's finally, this is his first game feeling comfortable because he's had so many practices missed that he's finally getting his feet under him. It just took 5 games, unfortunately, to get to that point, and he still got a long way to go. So, keep the red jersey on all the rest of the year. That should be Riley Leonard's mentality. I got the red jersey on. I can't go out there and try to force a win. I got to play the game that's given to me, do my job. This is a Denbrock quotes word for word. Word for word. And that's why you shouldn't be surprised he's leading the team in rushing, because that's a guy that doesn't want to stay in the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
He's leading the team in rushing because he gets the ball the most, and when he has the ball, he ain't trying to throw it. He's trying to run it because he knows that when in doubt, run it out. Not when in doubt, let me throw it out, let me run it out. Because at least I won't put the ball in harm's way. He's telling you he's going to put the ball in harm's way if he has to sit back there and throw the ball 30, 40 times a game. So to overcompensate that and to not completely embarrass himself, he's going to take off and try to run over 5 or 6 dudes and make the extra effort on run plays and run 100% and try to fight through tackles, because he knows that if he had to just play quarterback by itself, it's no different than what 12 did. And that was Tyler Buckner. It wasn't until the end of the year when Tyler Buckner got a little more comfortable, when he started throwing the ball a little bit better. But that was it. Yeah, but that was it. It was over at that point.
Yeah.
He's like Dak Prescott. When you're down 21, now you want to start throwing great completions and all these empty calories. And that's no different than Riley, except Riley's in a position where, look, we're expected to win games, and you're expected to do your job at a high level when you're not doing it. Yes, we're going to talk about you. And we should.
When Mike Denbrock said that, I said, no, really? Practice means something, huh? When you're trying to learn a new system. What do you know? Practice means something when you're trying to figure out what your quarterback can do and how you're going to shape the offense around him. Who knew? The guy that actually played the position at Notre Dame.
Now, if we took his playbook from Duke, it'd be a little different. If we took the playbook from Duke, his learning curve would be lesser than, and we wouldn't have the stalling that we've had leading up to these moments.
Once again, best question of the week goes to Levon Whitaker. Hey, Coach Denbrock, how does Jeremiah Love go the entire first quarter without getting a touch?
Straight up.
Look at this Georgia Tech, just on the offensive side of the ball. Do you see some similarities in what they do as far as Haynes King and he and Riley kind of have that dynamic run game after their passing game as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some similarities between it. I think there's similarities also between them and a common opponent that we had in Texas A&M. Obviously, the defensive coordinator from Georgia Tech was at Duke a year ago as the defensive coordinator. So I think offensive style-wise, I know they believe in their run game as much as we believe in ours, and that's a big piece of what we do.
Speaking of the run game, the decision to not have Jeremiah Love out there with touch in the first quarter against Stanford, how do you feel like that? What was the game plan there? How do you feel like it paid off down the line?
I don't know if there was any plan not to have him out there in certain situations. There's always a plan to make sure our best players are on the field. But we do, we have a rotation with the backs that they stick pretty much to. And, nobody understands that more than Jeremiah. And he's ready every time he gets an opportunity and does an unbelievable job with it. And we're happy he's on our team, that's for sure.
What does that mean? You're calling the plays. Who cares about rotation? You're calling the plays, Denbrock. When he's in there and you see him on the field, that's when you look down your list and be like, okay, we're going to run this run. We're going to get this run. He's asking you, how does he go without touching it? What's the game plan behind it? Not we glad to have him.
Shout out to Von Whitaker, boy.
Oh, my gosh. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard from Denbrock. Denbrock, he's asking you, what was the game plan to give the ball to your best player 6 times? What kind of strategy is that? Not, oh, we got rotation. Oh, we love to have him. Oh, he's ready to touch. Yes, he's ready to touch it, but you ain't giving it to him. You act like you wasn't calling the plays. You just in the background. No, what's the strategy? You're giving a guy 15 carries that plays quarterback over a guy that has 6 that's your best player on offense. You're calling the plays. You're directly responsible for that. Unless you pass it off on Marcus Freeman and say, oh, Marcus Freeman told me X, Y, and Z. Other than that, you're in control of that. And there's no excuse for him to have under 10, let alone 12, 13 carries. It should be he's got to touch the ball 15 times a game at least. At least. Not, oh, we're glad to have him. Yeah, I'm glad to have all the players. But if you ain't using them, it's not making no sense. Yeah, everything is cool when you win the game. Everything's cool when you score 40-something points. When you start breaking down those numbers, and as it relates to the trajectory of where we're supposed to go, he's not a back that in crucial games is going to get the ball 6 times. So why is it in non-crucial games he gets it 6 times? He's our best player. Doesn't make sense. How do you have an offense where you don't give your best player a good lion's share of the carries? I don't understand that.
No, once again, great question from LeVon Whitaker, man. Super chat from Galanosa. Malik is correct. We need to be recruiting football players in the USA. American football is not an international sport. Indy has international appeal clearly, but football is uniquely American.
That's right. Not made in China.
Well, we know the Australian punter thing has definitely been a trend. So that
trends are like tactics. They come and go.
But it's been most of them have been good. So I don't mind going to get punters from Australia, but man, you just put just a recruiting wall up around the United States.
That's right. That's why y'all going so far, taking all them frequent flyer miles to go do what? Like, you got guys right down the street.
There's definitely some dudes right down the street, but I won't even go down there to that road.
And they won't either. They won't go down there either. Al Washington, where you at?
Love you. Wow. Al Golden. What's up with Leonard Moore? What makes him so good?
It's a great question. I would say maturity is the first thing that jumps out. He athletically, he's long, he's strong, he shows up in the run game. But I could probably go get a dozen kids that can do that. But his maturity, his intellect, his want to, film study, preparation, getting with Mick extra, doing all the little things, and earning the trust too of the guys around you. I think after the Louisville game, he earned the trust of everybody in the defense, and certainly, the guys that aren't defensive backs, the guys in the front 7 said, okay, this guy was ready for his moment, and so he'll be ready, and we're excited about him.
I told you. Now, I love Benjamin Morrison, bro. Run support against Navy and Army, Leonard Moore is definitely better run support at the DB position. Better tackler too.
Yeah, I mean he's a talented kid, and I think the confidence in which he's in a room with a bunch of talented guys and a great coach backing you and coaching you, those talents become in the forefront and they start to flourish faster because your confidence in what you're doing, you're not hesitating. And so when you get talent mixed with good coaching, you get stuff like Leonard Moore, who doesn't look like a freshman. He just looks like a guy that's looking to get more experience as the games go on, and it's paying off. No different than a Kenny Urlacher. He wasn't the man to be on the watch list of impact players going into the season necessarily. But when he's gotten a good coach and he's in a room full of guys that's pushing the group forward athletically and competitively, he's just looking to make another play just like the rest of them. That's what Don Shula did. Don Shula said, shoot, all these guys around me balling, I need to start balling. And I think that's what's infectious about having a dominant coach, having draftable players in the position room, because those young guys coming in they don't have to look too far up. They can look side to side and see everybody that's doing what they want to do in the next 2 to 3 years, making impacts each and every week. And that information that's shared is crucial. Half of the game is information. I say 90% of football coaches out here don't know what that 10% knows, but you can be around that 10% of football coaches, those Sarkisians, the Lincoln Riley in some aspects, your Nick Saban, your Kalen DeBoers, those guys like that. That's the cream of the crop when it comes to information on different things. Like even Dan Lanning, you can even throw him in there for the know-how to know what works and what you can get away with because you that next level coach. I mean, these are the things that separate themselves and why they consistently are in the top 15, 10 rankings, because they have a certain knowledge that you just can't get from everywhere else. And I think that's the benefit of when you have coaches that are in spots like that and then they're at great schools. So whenever you can merge the two, hell, you get something special out of it. And Coach Mick has been underratedly one of the better coaches on the entire staff because he's been able to manage the right way, losing a first-round pick and not falling off the cliff, because those young guys have been prepared. They've seen the older guys take the consistent steps, and those guys are doing exactly what they came in wanting to do. And you also, in that same process, weed out the guys that just aren't ready or aren't good enough. And it's not even a conversation like Marcus Freeman had to have with the quarterbacks where they like, all right, we've been, I might have to step to the side. Where these are conversations of, oh, I know you're going to do what you got to do because you see the writing on the wall. Because the room. Marcus Freeman had to tell the quarterback because they was living in oblivious land, thinking that what they were doing is somehow helping the team. But Marcus Freeman had to break the harsh reality and be like, neither one of y'all going to do it for us. At least Jaden Mickey looked around and said, hell, I ain't 6'4", I ain't 6'3". These boys making plays, and they just got here. Man, Coach Mickey's just coaching everybody. The competition too hot. The kitchen got too hot. And so everybody's like, I understand if you got to move on, do what's best for you. That's the conversation you want to have instead of Coach Freeman knocking on your door being like, hey, let me go talk to you. Let me go chop it up with you. Come to my office later. Because he got to bring it down slow. But when the competition and the right formula is in the room, you can look around and be like, okay, I don't fit in here. Period. That's how you want it to be. I don't fit in this room. Devin Ford looking around this room like, God dang, Keitra Young just had a crazy game. And these boys going crazy. And I'll play special teams. Hell, you need to play safety? I'll play safety. Yeah, because you know. Steve McCullum probably had to have no conversation with Devin Ford. He probably had no conversation with them. He probably was like, shoot, what you want me to say? you seeing these highlights being made. I don't have to say anything. I'm just putting him in there.
Lucky Lefty podcast. I'll go and then, how do you get the two freshmen ready? Right? I mean, Carson Hobbs, Leonard Moore, you got to step up left. There's no way around that.
Yeah, just try to make it small. I was just saying upstairs, just, narrow your focus and try to make it small. And your time's coming. And, you're not in control of when your time comes. You're in control of whether or not you're, ready for that opportunity, whether you're prepared, whether you've made the unselfish decisions, whether you've given certain things up. And those are all the challenges right now that he and a lot of his peers are in the same situation face this time of year. Like, they got to get ready to go, and there has to be urgency.
That's pretty simple there, man. I love that. Your time, hey, you don't have no control over when your time comes. But what you do control is that when it comes, you say this all the time, Left. You say it all the time. Your window in Notre Dame is this big.
The window is the window. The window is the window. That's why I was never upset with how the situations went with Deshaun or Ev or Tommy or Brandon or whoever, because it's like, it ain't about what y'all doing. Everybody's gonna get a chance in that window. Hell, I'm even encouraging that you do well when your chance comes, because when it's gone, it's gone. Don't look around. Don't say it's my fault. Hell, because when my chance is coming, I'm taking advantage. That's just how the culture was built at Notre. Well, maybe it was a Brian Kelly thing, but that's just what it was. It's like, man, listen, you can't, because of how political things already feel at Notre Dame, there's no favorites. It's just like, okay, they're gonna decide who they decide, because even if who they decide is subjective, they can't tell you who's better, who's not. I just know that whatever they decide, football is so great, it'll figure itself out. And if you're not ready for those moments because you stuck saying, coach don't like me, this and that, you're gonna miss the window and really be asked out, because Notre Dame's Notre Dame. They're gonna recruit guys that's gonna come in ready, and if you're not ready and you miss that window, it's just hard to ever get back. It's hard to ever get back.
What do you think is going to be the key for a kid like Carson Hobbs? You talked about Leonard Moore and how he handled his first start and how he gained the confidence of the other players. Benjamin Morrison, I remember that I told you in that practice where he came up and smacked Jaden Thomas, and Jaden Thomas got mad, and the entire defense ran over to back up Ben Morrison. I was like, oh, they respect this kid already. Like, what does Carson Hobbs need to do in order to gain that same type of respect? Just produce.
That's it. I mean, because at the end of the day, you out there by yourself. It's hard enough to get on that field. But then when you get out there and players come your way, which they will, it's literally you just have to make the play. Change. We say all the time, change your life.
Change your life.
First time I got in the game, first play, took it 60 yards. Change your life. I wasn't playing with y'all. Shit. It was hard enough to get on the field dealing with this craziness that you can't control at Notre Dame as it is. So I said, hell, if I ever get the slightest chance, I'm gonna just change my life. Forget being nervous. Because you ain't got time for that. Perfect example. Hendricks went in there. USC, Tommy went down. Only me, him, and Hendricks on the damn roster. Tommy went down, Hendricks went in. He wasn't ready, and it was probably the worst game ever. Ain't nobody to blame. Shit, who you gonna blame? Coach Martin gonna talk crazy like he should, but it's your fault for not being ready. That's the overarching theme, is that, listen, like, man, there is no room for complaining on not getting playing time, because your time will come. Whether it's early, whether it's Javon McKinley and come fifth year, whether it's injury that puts you in there like Jalen Smith. We knew Jalen was going to be the man. It just happened that things shake out to where it just gifted him the spot, just like Will Fuller. Just
Jalen was behind a dude.
Danny Spahn.
Danny Spahn, dude. Let me tell you something. You guys had two linebackers that they didn't have injuries. That linebacker core would have been epic.
Jalen probably would have been rotating in. They had a lot of respect for Danny Spahn. Now, I'm just getting on the campus and all that, but Spahn was, they loved him like the president. He was the real Joe Schmidt, the one that could play, and they liked him. So, I think that it's a great opportunity. That's why Notre Dame's so cool. It's because as much politics as you think it is, your politics is all about that window. It's just all about the window, dude. If you miss the window, it's wraps. Go transfer. Tyler Buckner probably was like, man, this is some BS. He saw Jack Cohn come in, didn't get it done like he should have. Next year, who was that? Sam Hartman came in. I mean, the writing be on the wall, son.
Yeah. Let's get to this last clip from Al Golden. Preparing for Georgia Tech and just being ready, man. These youngsters.
Yeah, it's time to get ready. You know, Leonard's time came. He was ready. There's going to be someone next. You know, obviously Kingston, Bryce. I'm sure Gabe thought, you know, the way it shook out last week, Gabe thought, well, you know, I'll be the fifth tackle and I'll kind of ease into it. Well, guess what? You know, all of a sudden, Jason's out and you're in the rotation. So there's another guy. So I can go on and on. You know, Junior, how he's responded to his opportunity, man. He's playing, you know, really, really well right now. And so he was ready. So it's not going to be the last time someone gets thrust into an opportunity and at the same time gets thrust in a situation that we, coaches, teammates, team, you know, all of us are going to need him to execute accordingly.
I know you all are probably going first and second down like you normally do.
Yeah.
What's the message this point in the week when you got going to face a Georgia Tech team? You don't know what quarterback you want to get.
Yeah. Well, I have respect for both quarterbacks. Number 5, it's 251 reps. I've watched him. And obviously number 10 has been a starter. So either one can run the offense. But, you know, like the players, we said today, just turn on the film. You know, 2 and 8 on the perimeter. I think they're probably going to get 85 back at tight end. 44 is doing a nice job there as a big tight end and a guy who can move people. 9 is the move guy, and he's a matchup problem. You know, the running backs have done a really great job, and all you have to do is turn on the film. 200 yards a game rushing, 5 something a carry, 450 yards of offense. It's a heck of a challenge. They test you in a number of ways pre-snap, motion, tempo, formationing. They're really, really well coached, and they don't beat themselves. They protect the football. They make you tackle well, especially in space. So just, you know, a lot of eye-catching, you know, instances when you turn on them tape.
Coach, all due respect, they lost to Louisville. They should have lost to Duke.
He don't miss a beat.
All due respect.
He don't miss a beat.
I love your approach, Coach. I love it.
He said, "Oh, both of them. Oh, they both good. Oh, they both of them. I watched all they rep. Oh, he dangerous. He dangerous.
He said he named a number of snaps. Yeah. I watched every one of his snaps. 251.
He gonna present problems and all. He know how to hype. Man, he should be a
tight ends. Oh, number 9. Oh, number 44.
Hey, brother. Ooh, they gonna get 85 back. They gonna get 85 back. Ooh. Man, he can sell a fight. He need to be next to Don King.
He leaves the media and goes to the locker room like, eat them. Oh, you know, he doesn't tell me.
We on their ass all day.
Right. We got players like, wait a minute, coach. You was just smiling and laughing with the media. He comes in the locker room. Y'all better tear that.
I better not see another
one. They gonna gain another yard all night.
Oh man, he's great. All-time great. That's all-time great right there.
The best. Yo,
that's all-time great. And Marcus Freeman need to learn a little bit of that. Come on now, he's right down the hall. Go, that's your media training. Go right down the hall. He'll tell you exactly how to break it down. Because my goodness, he go in there. He's like, did you see they got 2 of them? Oh yeah, and they got 85. And they got they gonna do some thing. They motion, they tempo. Ooh. I don't know how he's gonna handle that.
450 total. Woo. It's tough to handle. Tough. It's gonna be tough. It's the locker room. Y'all better.
I don't want to see a yard. I don't want to see a yard. Completion. 5's trash. 10's trash. They all trash. You know, one of them.
Secrets all night long.
Yeah, boy, I love watching his press conference. I know whoever he highlighting, that's who's not gonna have a good day. That's what I've seen. Whoever he talk about the most, that's the one that's not gonna have a good day in the game. That's the one he's targeted.
Fans ain't doing nothing Saturday.
No.
So, and before we get out of here, Left, thank everybody for joining us today. I had to go back and celebrate some more with my mom, man. So,
that's right.
Why is it? Is it something different? Because Al Golden and his staff, whatever they have set up, the players expect to play, but they're just ready. Every young player that's gotten the opportunity has been ready this year, bro. Every single one. Every single defensive player. I cannot name a defensive player that stepped on the field that we looked at and said, nah, bro. Everybody's been ready.
Especially those linebackers.
And the safeties, the young safeties.
And I think a lot of that comes from
Kennedy.
It's an expectation. It's an organized effort, and it's all about not letting the next guy down. Mm-hmm. And I think that what do you call it? Rapport. Mm-hmm. That rapport has been built up. It's like, okay, it's year 3. We need to fall in line.
Yeah.
And it's not the job of the coaches to get the backups ready. It's the backups' job to get the backups ready. Because you understand where that window is. Mm-hmm. You don't have time to be like, when is coach going to help me? You need to be proactive because coaches only have so much time to tell the starters what to do. Like the backups need to be looking, listening, and learning. Period. And if you're not doing that, you will get passed over. Mm-hmm. And it's nothing that's the best part about it. You can't turn and blame anybody or anything. You can be screwed up until a point, but that same time, you're going to get your chance. And when you're out there, just like we talk about, we can't tell you how they're going to do. Only they can determine what they're going to go out there and put on the field. It's up to them to do that. We can speculate. We can hypothesize. We can hyperbole, whatever you want to call it. They got to go out there and make it happen. So the best thing about football is that, yeah, you may have gotten screwed and everything, but don't use that as an excuse to not be prepared. And probably one of the best traits Al Golden has is preparing his defense for all situations and telling them where they need to be and what needs to happen. And then it comes down to actualization, not execution, actualization. And I think that's what the defense's mantra has been. And it's awesome when you can see repeat success from multiple different guys. It's one thing to have a Xavier Watson and Ben Morrison, but when you can repeat that through class after class, through guy next man up after next man up, it shows that whatever you're doing on a culture side is working, and there's no need for extra motivation. When you're prepared, there is no wonder of what's going to happen, and that's what you see from a Leonard Moore and a Kenny Urlacher, guys who don't hesitate, guys that find ways to make plays. Drake Bowen has been a staple. I would say a staple in that defense. So it's so many good things that are taking place when the top down is great. We love to blame the quarterback, but top down on the quarterback doesn't look great all around it. So when it trickles down to the quarterback not playing well, he probably has a big hand in it. But you got to look to what Denbrock said. Hell, you miss 15 practices, you're going to be behind the ball. So no matter what you could consider, talent and all that, you still have to think that he's got to be ready to play.
Little Left, what's up, boy? Lucky Lefty podcast. Hey, have a great day. Rest of your evening. Continue to be blessed. God's blessings upon you guys. Subscribe, share, hit the like button. Patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network, man. As always, make sure you continue to spin it different. We'll holler. See you tomorrow.